Hello, and welcome to I'm Too Busy. I'm Christina Flach, your host. I'm a celebrity makeup artist and CEO with a passion for all things beauty, wellness, and success. On this show, I'll take you on exciting journeys, sharing personal stories and insights from inspiring entrepreneurs. Together, we will explore manifestation, health, wellness, and the secrets to thriving in life and business. Let's jump in and get inspired. Hello, I'm Christina Flach. Today on I'm Too Busy, we are sharing a story that is not just personal, it's historical, it's symbolic, and deeply relevant to the world we're living in right now. My guest, John Daly, lived a life that sounds impossible, but it's true. As a teenager, John was forcefully recruited into a neo-Nazi skinhead organization. He rose through the ranks until the truth was discovered. John was Jewish. What followed was an attempted assassination. He was brutally beaten, drowned in the Atlantic Ocean, and left for dead. John survived. He later testified against the leaders of the organization that tried to murder him, knowing it would put a target on his back for the rest of his life. To escape ongoing death threats, John moved to Israel, rebuilt his life, earned his degrees in Hebrew, survived 3 awake brain surgeries, and went on to become a globally respected motivational speaker, educator, and peace builder. But John's story doesn't stop there. In one of the most powerful acts of symbolic defiance imaginable, John was invited to play jazz on an original Nazi saxophone from 1939, performing a song by Jewish composer George Gershwin inside Kaserne Dosen, a former Nazi transit camp where over 25,000 Jews were deported to Auschwitz. A Jewish man, a Nazi instrument, and a jazz song once labeled degenerate music, played alongside an Arab musician. If that doesn't force us to confront the past, nothing will. In a world that feels increasingly divided, this conversation truly matters. John Daly, welcome. How are you?
Wow, that almost sounds impressive. Thank you for having me. I'm doing well.
Oh,
It's a
it's
pleasure to be here.
such an honor to speak with you today. Your story begins with identity before you fully understood your own. How did a young Jewish teenager become trapped inside a neo-Nazi organization? I mean, how on earth did that happen?
Sounds crazy. I went to a birthday party with some friends, and when I was at the party, I noticed these guys had short hair, but they seemed kind of cool. And while I was talking with them, as a nerd from my high school, I was just looking for another friend group to link up with. And these guys, and at one point they said, we're skinheads. And I said, well, I guess I can hang out with you. I'm Jewish. And one pulled down his shirt and showed me a white hand and a black hand cracking a swastika in half. And they said, we're not those type of skinheads. We're okay. So
Okay.
it turned out that they were anti-racist skinheads. We're more independent skinheads than anti-racist. And
Okay.
that's how the path got started.
Wow. When your Jewish identity was discovered, the group attempted to kill you. Can you take me back to that moment and what survival cost you physically and emotionally?
Wow. That's a very, very, very good question. Back to that moment. I was ordered to remove the tattoo off of somebody's neck, a girl's neck. And I went to the girl and said, listen, if you don't make things right with the organization, they want me to take the name of the organization, American Front, off of your neck. And she contacted some crazier skinheads and said, listen, I know John's secret. She was my best friend's ex-wife. Said, John's Jewish, to save her own life. And that's
Wow.
how things got started. I was ordered to an officers meeting in Daytona Beach, Florida, and at the meeting we all went down to the sea, and I thought, great, at the sea I can lose them, go back to my car and drive back to the Ocala where I lived, which was 80 plus miles away.
Hmm.
So I got down to the sea with them, and somebody punched me behind the ear. And when I got hit behind the ear, somebody shouted out now, and 7 guys all together jumped on top of me, were punching me and kicking me until I hit the ground.
Oh,
And one dragged me to the sea to the shouts of die, Jew boy, die.
oh my gosh. I don't understand how you survived that. I mean, God was clearly watching over you.
The doctors told me that I was a liar. There's no way that I could have survived being drowned. What I guess for your viewers that don't know the entire story, like I'm talking to you because I know you know it.
Right.
I was dragged into the sea while these guys were still kicking me and beating me. When they first dragging me in, I thought this is awesome because it's going to slow down their kicks.
Right,
These
right,
guys are
right.
morons. And so I looked up and I saw the hatred in the guy's eyes that was walking backwards, dragging me into the sea.
Oh,
Um, and that's when I knew what was going to happen. That's when I knew that I was going to die. Once they got me out and they beat me up, they thought that I had drowned and they left. And as they were walking away, they saw me sitting above the sea line. I was just washed above the sea line. And they came back and they were very upset that I was still alive. The audacity of this Jewish guy not to die. Um,
oh,
and one came and kicked me here so hard it lifted me straight up to my feet again. And
oh
then they
my
started all
God.
over again. And then they all brought me back into the ocean again. And this time one sat on my back and the other one choked me. And it takes two pullfuls of your diaphragm to fill your lungs with water. And I filled my lungs with water. I could feel the tide going in and out as my lungs would open and collapse. And I woke up above the shoreline, which was impossible because the sea was going out. Their testimony in court was they watched me float out to sea. I was a foot underwater and they watched me with my eyes and mouth open float out to sea. My arms out to the side like this. You
So
just
did
can't see
who
in the video.
how did you get from that to the hospital? Who found you?
I woke up above the sea line, and when I woke up above the sea line, at some point, the police drove by. They were like, "Hey, have you drunken tonight?" And I said, "Yes," because I'd had one beer. So I'd answered three, actually. So I answered truthfully. I've
Yeah.
had three beers. And they thought I was drunk because it's Daytona Beach, Florida. They were like, "Get off the beach."
Right, right,
And
right.
I stumbled off the beach, managed to find my car. And the first and only time in my life that I ever had a spare pair of glasses in my car was that night. And put the glasses on, and I drove my way back to Ocala, Florida, which was again 80 something miles back to my parents' house. Took a shower, went to bed. I got woken up the following morning. That's when my parents saw me and took me to the hospital. So
And
how I
what
survived?
it's unbelievable. So what injuries did you actually have from that experience?
I had aspirated pneumonia from breathing in the salt water. So they
Hmm.
didn't think I was going to survive because of that. I had a fractured cheekbone, and they thought there was potential for infection going into my brain and killing me there. And it turns out it was probably the catalyst for my brain tumor that I have now. So
Oh,
thank,
interesting.
thank you for that. Uh, um, and no small amount of trauma and a few nightmares here and there. But at some point along the way, while I was fighting all the trauma that I was dealing with, there was no one that can take your hand and say, listen, this is what you went through. We're going to help you. You have to find the way yourself.
Hmm.
So what I started doing was I was afraid of the water because I was drowned. I started taking showers. From showers, I got in and I would sit there and just shake under the water. And from showers, I got to scuba diving. Scuba diving, what else do I not like? I don't like heights. So skydiving. If you've ever been skydiving, the scariest part's going up in planes. So I got my pilot's license. I don't like people touching me, so I got black belts. So yeah, I just went after every single thing that bothered me. I just went after. And as I was doing that, at one point in one of my nightmares, I stopped and said, You didn't let them kill you physically, you let them kill you psychologically because of the fear." And I
Oh,
stopped and turned in one of my nightmares, and I said, "Never again." I went to fight one of the guys and kill him. And when I looked at him and said, "Never again," it's like the script had changed. And he was like, "You're not supposed to say that." And I never had another nightmare with those guys again.
thank goodness. You later testified against the organization's leaders, knowing you would
Mhm.
never truly be safe again. What made you decide to speak anyway?
I think it's very important if they attack the Mexican, they go to prison. They attack an Asian person, they go to prison. They attack a Jew, the Jew leaves. What message did I just send them? Attack Jewish people.
Right.
So, and I felt like it was important to make sure that I stood up and spoke out against them. And it's something that I encourage people everywhere I go. You need to stand up and speak. If something's happening, you're the one that could stop it for other people. And it might suck. You might not like the results of what happens. Sorry, some words I want to say in Hebrew.
Yeah.
Habit. I apologize. And then I have to think of the
No, you're
translation real
perfect.
quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, that by doing so, by speaking out, what you're doing is you're looking out for the other person. You didn't like when it happened to you, and if you don't want it to happen to somebody else, speak.
When you were in the group
Yes.
and you were Jewish, did you think it was, did you feel comfortable with them or like how did you rationalize that in yourself? Or did you not even embrace your Jewishness at that point?
I had a diary, and in the diary, I basically wrote who I saw, when I saw them, where I went, what we did, because I knew that at some point I was going to get murdered. So at 16, I was keeping a diary to help the police track down who was going to kill me. And it was only a matter of time.
Wow.
So,
After you, oh, keep going. I'm so sorry.
So the night I was attacked, I actually felt a calmness to a certain extent because I didn't have to be afraid anymore. It's over.
Hmm.
It was relaxing.
So you never thought, did you feel like you just couldn't leave the organization, even though if you had
When
those feelings, you didn't feel like you could?
when I started meeting law enforcement officers and people like that were involved or connected, and they could find you pretty much everywhere, that if you tried to run, they would track you down and go after you. Um, where was I going to go? 16-year-old kid, where was I going to go? Tell my parents, hey, we got to move. The parents are going to go, oh, okay. No.
Did your parents have any idea about this group?
They started getting an idea. They were not thrilled. Part of it was to push, as a son, to push against my father to make him upset, which is what boys do.
Hmm.
My mother sat me down not too long before I was attacked and said, listen, they're going to hurt you. And I looked at it and said, yeah. I said, we've got two choices. I can either tell them we can either have a going away party for me, and that's when I'll go and tell them and leave that I'm a Jew, and they'll kill me, and you will never see me again. Or we can wait, and it'll be a surprise for both of us. What do you want? As a mother, what would you say?
As a mother, I would
Mhm.
I would get on a plane and take you somewhere far away. As a
Where they could
mother
find
of
me.
two Jewish sons and two Jewish daughters. So yeah.
They're everywhere. They're in every country all over the world,
Oh,
even here in
God.
Israel. And she started crying and said, we wait. 2 weeks later, they found out.
Yeah. Wow. After years of death threats, you moved to Israel. And what did the move represent for you beyond safety?
Coming home,
Yeah.
coming home.
What?
It's hard to, yes.
Keep going. I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
The way I describe Israel is you have a house and you have a home. When you come to Israel, it's like your soul has come home. There's a feeling that you have the first time you land here that it's hard to describe. You just feel like something has been completed. And it's
It's
been home for the
beautiful.
last almost 30 years.
Wow. What happened to the people that beat you up?
Two went to prison for attempted murder. Uh, the rest went to jail for assault and battery. They all got hate crimes attached to what they did. Um, Nothing major. They all got articles written about them. Um,
Yeah, but
one,
not that's not it wasn't a good thing.
well, one poor guy had a bunch of really racist tattoos, and they covered them all before they put him in prison
Mhm.
to help protect him. Um, that's what I mean that articles state about them. So
Wow. You've undergone three awake brain surgeries, losing part of your brain's rhythm center. How did that change your relationship with your body, your identity, and your purpose?
purpose first.
Okay.
You've got brain cancer. Well, life is over. You're dead, right? What's the point of doing anything else? I'd quit
Hmm.
smoking, so I restarted smoking because it's not the smoking that's going to kill me. Um, so
Are you still
and it
smoking?
no, oh no, I quit in 2015, I think.
Okay, good.
Um, when I restarted public speaking, I'd quit. Uh, your whole life changed. I was in the middle of my master's degree, and my teachers there were like, "Wait a second, you should be teaching here next year." And that was just an honor in and of itself that what you thought you were going to be doing, where you thought you were going to be headed in your life, comes to a sudden dead stop. And you have to refigure out who you are as a human, which is very difficult. I was having a lot of problems with seizures, so they put me on a lot of different, I think over 13 different epilepsy medications over the years. So there was the first 5 years of being, since I was diagnosed, I was basically a zombie,
Mm,
just a doped out zombie, which was very difficult. But managed to get a documentary filmed in there,
that's remarkable.
doped out and all.
So tell me about the three awake brain surgeries.
Now we're going to scare some people. All right, the first in the awake brain surgeries, you're supposed to be as calm as a Hindu cow. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to go bad. And the reason why they do it awake is so they can get more of the tumor out. The
Mhm.
first neurosurgeon I saw, when he looked at MRI, just started stuttering. And that's your eyes. That was mine. Basically, was like, yeah, that's nice. He's like, if I operate on you, you will not be the same person you are now. You'll become somebody different. And I was like, what does that mean? He didn't really have an answer. So there's maybe one guy in Israel that can help you. And he referred me to this other surgeon, and that guy was inside my brain within the month.
Wow.
And when he got in, it turned out that I was 1% of the people that they cannot fully anesthetize the scalp.
Hmm.
So I felt everything when they went in.
Oh my
This
God.
being scalped, the drill, not the drill,
Oh,
the saws went across the skull, everything. And they knew it. They could hear it. I was quite vocal, as you might imagine. But there was a
I
limit to how much
can.
they could put into me. And they'd gone as far as they could go where I could still interact with them, I guess.
Hmm.
And at some point, I had a grand mal seizure on the operating table. And when I had that, they knocked me out. This was in December of 2009. In February 2014, they were able to go back in and cut more of it out. And then again in 2021. So the
So
first one, I felt
why did
everything.
that happen? Like, why are the second and third times? Why did they have to go back? Did it grow more, or did they felt they could get
Bro, partial
technology had
growth.
changed that they could get in there deeper?
It's a lot of questions at one time.
I know.
Um,
Sorry. So.
all of them. All of them, actually. In 2014, when I was operating on them, they said, okay, your brain has changed enough that we can go back in and get more out because I had the grand mal during this first surgery and they had to close me up real soon. They couldn't do
Hmm.
it the way they wanted to, where they were talking with me and interacting with me.
Hmm.
Um, so there was that. So in 2014, they got more out. And what they were doing was they were causing seizures on the operating table so they could cut out more of the seizure place, which
Oh,
hurts. It's very uncomfortable. But and the next one, and they said, we can never operate on you again. And I was like, okay. And it grew a little bit. And in 2021, they said, okay, we want to cut into you. So, okay. And that
wow.
time they were able to get it. They got 95% of it out.
Oh, wow.
What was remaining?
And how are you? What's your health now with this brain tumors?
Ask me in a month. That's when I see
Okay.
my next time I see my oncologist.
Okay. Well, I
I'm
have
on,
I have good feelings about this.
please God, I'm on watch and wait where they just basically keep an eye on it to make sure it doesn't grow. And if it does grow, they try and figure little things out. Right
Hmm.
now, I'm not too interested in doing much more with it.
Hmm.
It's been 16 years of fighting it. So,
Oh my gosh. Do you take a lot of care with your diet
nope,
and wellness?
nope.
You don't have a special diet or supplements or
My
woo
friends
woo,
that
as I
did
like to call it.
my friends that did do supplements and were running and doing all kinds of crazy things, I've watched them die. So I was like, why would you make the time that you have miserable doing certain things that you don't like doing in the first place?
Hmm.
Just enjoy what you have. And that's what I try
So,
and do. I try and enjoy what I have.
what do you? What brings you the most joy right now?
This, I love talking to groups and just being in front of groups and talking with them
Hmm.
and letting them know that whatever happens, you have to realize that it was the best things that happened in my life were being murdered and getting brain cancer. They were the best things to ever happen to me. It's learning to
Wow.
look for the good in which what everyone else perceives as the bad.
Hmm.
Just learn to look for the good in it. And eventually, if you look, you will find it.
I agree. When you were invited to participate in the Sax for Pax project, placing a playing a Nazi saxophone, what was your first reaction?
This is nuts. A buddy of mine has a saxophone store outside in Bruges, Belgium. I walked
Hmm.
in and saw the saxophone that with it says 1939 and it's got a swastika and a Luftwaffe around it. So it's for
Hmm.
the Air Force.
Hmm.
I picked it up and shouted until we won, and then I put it back down. And later on, he got thinking and since they took the music section out of my brain, I had to teach myself how to play music.
And
So we had
you played previously. You
never,
were
never,
oh, you'd never played the saxophone.
never,
Oh
never.
my gosh.
It was just maybe we can encourage people to do something strange, weird, and odd that will lift other people up, make people say, hey, I can do something too. And what we did was I figured out how to how to play the keys a certain way. And I would say, how many seconds for this? How long do you blow on that? And once I got to explain it in a logical way and not a musical way, I could figure it
Hmm.
out. And so I put special music on the wall that I designed, had hit the keys, and I would sit there and play it like that again and again and again. And whenever I played it, practiced 3 hours in the morning, and then again 3 hours in the evening, and always
Wow.
with the yarmulke on, the Jewish head covering,
Yeah.
because I was playing for 6 million who couldn't speak for themselves anymore. And when
Wow.
I knew it was going to end up doing some kind of tolerance project. I didn't know where or when. Um, but the whole process all the way through was just it was awesome to be a part of.
How long did it take you to feel confident enough to be able to play like you did that day?
I didn't want to play it perfectly, so that was not my goal because perfect was what the Nazis would have wanted. So I wanted to mess it up just a little bit, um, intentionally. I practiced over a summer, and when I first started studying, the guy was like, I think that my date to play at the location was 6 weeks out, and the guy was like, "Yeah, that's impossible. You can't do it." And finally, after like 3 weeks, he was like, "Yeah, it'll be all right."
Wow. Do you still
Six
play?
out? Oh no.
No, that was it. One and done.
Yeah, one song, one place, one time. Thank you.
I love it. This wasn't just music, it was symbolism. A Jewish man
Mhm.
playing jazz, once labeled degenerate by a Jewish composer in a former SS camp. What did that moment mean to you?
Words. Honestly, I don't have words. When you're standing on a place looking down at an area where 28,000 people were sent to Auschwitz and only 1,000 came back, standing up there together with an Arab man, knowing that he's putting himself in more danger than you by being there together with you as with the Jew, and just having mad respect for that. And his reaction of walking through the Holocaust Museum and seeing things that as an Arab he never encountered before.
Well,
So it was, yeah, it was powerful.
very, that's exactly the word. You performed alongside an Arab musician, as you just mentioned, in a place
Mhm.
marked by unspeakable trauma. What did that collaboration represent to you personally?
Lifetime friendship. One,
Mm,
lifetime friendship, and two, that I like to show people that you can break bonds because we tend to put people in boxes. And so this person's like this, or they vote like that, or they pray like that, so they have to be like this. And I like to break out of boxes, and I like to meet people that I can break out of a box. And he
right.
was one. So Hassan was one. He did something that broke him out of a box, and now we've got a story that's boxless.
Yes, true. You spend your life educating people about how hatred forms. What do most people misunderstand about extremism?
One of the examples I use a lot is Adam and Eve. The first story in the Bible is blaming somebody else. And that's what extremism is. It's blaming somebody else for your problems.
Mm-hmm.
And it's human nature, I think, personally. That's just what we do, how we're built. It's easier for me to blame you for whatever's happening in my life than it is for me to take responsibility, because then I have to say, I'm the one that messed up. And most of us can't do that. Think about most relationships we've been in. We've had problems in the relationship. We have a hard time saying, I'm the one that's causing the issue. It's just to say, you're the one. And that's part of what extremism, that's extremism in a nutshell, and a really condensed version.
Mm-hmm. We're seeing a rise in intolerance, anti-Semitism, and political violence worldwide. Are you seeing patterns that concern you?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. It concerns me that, like we see what's happened rising up in Iran, and the silence that I see in the media, from a lot of the media, that jumped of everything that had to do with Gaza as if everything was perfect and truth. But Iran, they're like, no, we need to fact check it. It's not real. It's not right. And that's greatly concerning. Because
Yeah.
here in Israel, we have a very close connection with Iran, with Iranians,
Mm-hmm.
Persians, I should say. So watching it is something that makes me sad.
Yeah. You live knowing that every plane you board could be dangerous. Why do you continue this work?
Who else are you going to send? If I know I can go someplace and say, I've been there and I've done that, and interact with a group of kids or adults and let them know what it's like to fight against extremism, or how to see the other as one of the big things that I push is ambassadorship.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere you go, everything you do, you're an ambassador of what the person sees, be it I'm a male, I'm also an Israeli. So if I do something to a woman or to another man, he's going to think, oh, that's how all Israelis are, how all other dudes are, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm really big on ambassadorship about how you treat people, be it your brand, your company. The same thing with anyone that works for you is representing you, and you
It's
want them
very
to
true.
carry your brand that way. And that's I try and carry the humanity brand the way that I feel like humanity should be, and that's like treating people the way you want to be treated.
Agreed. No, I think that's beautiful. When people hear your story and ask, what can I do? What is your answer?
Speak up, speak up more than anything else. Speak up and look for the other. Look for the one that's been ignored because that's the one that's going to get pulled into the groups.
Mm-hmm. What is one word that defines survival for you now?
Word challenge.
Mm.
um, Define survival. Um, Consistency.
Mm. Good word.
Consistency.
Fear or responsibility? Which drives you more?
Oh, fear has no place. Responsibility.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, fear has no home here.
A sound that carries meaning for you.
I don't understand the question.
Is there a sound that you hear that just feels like home or certain things? Just is there a sound that means something to you? A bird chirping, the ocean, waves, a laugh? I don't know.
I definitely like laughter. I like to make people laugh. Otherwise, when you start to the sirens go up for the
Mm-hmm.
rockets, anything that sounds close to that will definitely get your heart beating because you're like, wait, is
Yeah.
that no matter where you are in the world, if a bus goes by and they're accelerating and it sounds like the siren is getting ready to just go up, you'll pause.
You've already kind of answered this question, but what does Israel feel like to you?
Home.
Home. Yeah.
Yeah, home.
Hate grows fastest where blank lives.
Silence.
Yes.
Silence.
One thing schools must teach better.
When I speak in schools, one of the things that I do is I put racism uh, as boys. Because as a woman, everywhere you've been, every place you walk to, you always are aware it's dark. I'm
Mm-hmm.
alone. You have to look over
Mm-hmm.
your shoulder, certain things like that. And what I do is I lay it out as the boys are the aggressors and the women are afraid of you. And I try and put it out in such a way that the boys realize that they're the ones that are putting the fear into the world, not so much the ladies. That makes
That's
sense.
true.
The same with dealing with the immigrants and anything else. Any deal, any other, I always try and put it in that kind of framework. Because in the especially teenage boys, like their hormones are raging. Like the girls that you love are afraid of you, man. You need to clean up your act, and it
Then
tends to
they get
help
it. M-
sometimes.
Music can heal. Is that true or
Mhm.
false for you?
I listen to music all the time. Yes,
Yeah. Never again is a promise or a warning.
it's a catchphrase by now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just become a catchphrase. Never again was, and I see a lot of things coming up now in social media. And when I see people posting about never again, I'm like, what did you say after October 7th when Jews are being chased across college campuses? Were you vocal or are you doing it now because it's politically expedient for you? Which was it?
Right. Ugh,
Or be quiet.
agreed. One sentence you want people to remember.
Well, change begins with you. That's
Very
my
true.
catchphrase.
Yep. Where is your happy place?
Wherever my little cats are.
Aw. Finish this. You want change.
I don't expect society to change for the better all the way. I think there are certain negativities that have to be seen in society so you can see the positivities.
Mm-hmm.
So I want change in perception, I would guess.
What have I not asked you today that you'd like to share?
Um, all this and more is in my book, From Hate to Healing. Yeah. Or my website, You Begin Change. Uh, that, I guess.
Yeah, I'll have all that in the show notes. John Daly's life reminds us that hate is learned, and so is courage. That silence allows extremism to grow, but one voice can erupt it. And that symbol matters because history lives on unless we actually rewrite its meaning. John's story is not about the past, it's about the responsibility of the present. If this conversation moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Please share it, talk about it, teach it, because if we don't speak up, who will? John Daly, thank you so much for your bravery, your humanity, and your refusal to stay silent. It has been my honor.
Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I'm Christina Flach, and I'm too busy.